Have you ever gotten to the end of the day and thought, how did I work all day and still not get everything done? So you stay later. You work through lunch, you answer email after dinner, and you promise yourself you'll catch up over the weekend. But somehow, the next week feels exactly the same, and the week after that, and the week after that. So what if some of the things that you're doing to be more productive are actually making you less productive? The habits that feel the most responsible aren't always helping the way we think they are. Sometimes they're keeping work in your head long after the workday is over. They're wearing down your ability to focus. They're making decisions harder. And ironically, they're making it harder to get work done. So today I want to challenge one assumption, just one. The idea that when work isn't getting done, the answer is automatically giving work more of you. More time, more attention, more availability. We'll look at a few everyday habits that seem productive on the surface, why they feel like the responsible thing to do, and what they may actually be costing you instead. My real hope is that by the end of this video, you won't just look at things like lunch, staying late, or checking your email after hours differently. You'll actually start wondering, what else am I doing because I assume it's helping, without ever questioning whether it actually does? Because I think we forget you are supposed to have a life after you log off, even on a Tuesday. Hey, I'm Kristol. I have been working for over 30 years, and I have absolutely been the person that I'm talking to in this video. I was in the office most days by 7:30 in the morning, earlier if I was working from home. I worked through lunch to make up for all the meetings where I couldn't get anything done. My normal day was to stay until about 7-ish, but even after that I was still working. I made sure my phone was always close enough to hear every little ping, including the weekends. I thought if I spent more time, pushed a little harder, eventually I would catch up. I have 2 grown kids now, and looking back, there were plenty of times, way too many, that I was physically home but mentally still at work. At the time, I thought that was what having a strong work ethic looked like. And then I got laid off. And once I got past the panic of that, it forced me to look at work very differently. So now I have another job. I still work hard. I still care about doing good work, but I don't measure the quality of my work by how much of myself I gave away to get it done, or what time I finally logged off at night. I really wish I'd understood that sooner. So think of this as my DeLorean moment. No layoff required. Let's start with the easiest place this shows up. Lunch. Or really it should be renamed because it's working through lunch. Because most of us don't think of that as overworking. It feels practical. You're already behind. Some things due. Someone, of course, scheduled a meeting over lunch because apparently calendars are a lawless wasteland, even if you book them as private and busy. So you eat at your desk. You answer a few emails. You finish that one more thing. And it feels productive because technically you're still working. But here's the question that's going to keep coming up today. Is it actually helping? Because if working through lunch really solved the problem, wouldn't you eventually stop needing to work through lunch? Instead, what usually happens is that you finish the day and you still leave feeling behind. Tomorrow arrives, you're already tired, noon rolls around, and you make the exact same decision again. And it's not because it worked, because the work is still there. And that's the part that I never questioned. I never thought of it. Lunch is not supposed to be just an empty hour sitting in the middle of your calendar. Your lunch hour is your hour. You can use it however you want, but it's meant to take a break, a reset. It's one of the few chances that your brain gets to stop solving work problems before asking it to do another 4 or 5 hours of the same thing. And that's assuming that you're leaving on time. So think of this. If you came in at 8 and lunch is at noon, by lunchtime, you've already been switching between meetings, answering questions, reading messages, making decisions, remembering all these details and trying to figure out what actually matters today. And of course, what's always behind. All of that burns mental energy. Your brain doesn't have unlimited supplies of that. This is a crappy analogy, but this is what I got. You would not expect your legs to feel great after running for 4 straight hours, right? But somehow we expect our brains to perform at the same level all day simply because we're still awake. And it doesn't work like that. That is not a thing. When you never step away, the quality of your thinking starts changing before you notice it. You reread the same email 3 times. You miss details that normally would have jumped out at you. Simple decisions take longer than they should. And everything starts requiring just a little more effort. And here we go, because now you feel even further behind. So working through lunch feels even more justified tomorrow. You see this loop? I do now, because I live there. I even had one of those little apps on my phone that would remind me to stand up and stretch every couple of hours. And it was not because I was health conscious. Otherwise, I was literally just on my duff, sitting in my chair from about 7:30 in the morning until it was time to leave, unless I had meetings or I needed to pee. And the latter was very convenient because that was on the way to the coffee machine. Multitasking. Maximum efficiency. That was me. Eventually, the reminder itself became annoying because stopping long enough to even snooze it felt like it was interrupting my work. My coworkers knew the app sound, and they would sometimes pop over like, "How long have you been sitting here? Are you going to go for your walk?" It's funny now, but think about how ridiculous that is. The app wasn't even the problem. I had gotten so used to never leaving my desk that even a reminder to stand up felt inconvenient. I'd stopped questioning it. So, I'd like you to try a little experiment. For you, not for me, for you. Take your lunch, nice and easy. If a full hour makes you twitch, take 15 minutes. It's all in the name of science. Block your calendar, leave your desk. You actually need to leave it, not sit around your desk at someone nearby. Leave, get away from that vicinity. And while you're gone, this is the hard part, don't spend the whole time thinking about your tasks back at your desk. Interrupt those thoughts by asking yourself, what would I want to do with the time instead of working? And I didn't have to worry about like traveling or anything like that. I could like poof and do what I want. I would want to go get my tootsies done. It's relaxing. You get a little foot massage. You get cute nails. Maybe you'd go for a walk. Maybe you'd listen to some music. Maybe you'd sit in your car and just enjoy that sweet, sweet sound of nobody needing you for a whole 15 minutes. Your decision. The point is letting your brain stop being at work and letting it relax, get a little woosa. Because if taking a short break helps you think better for the rest of the afternoon, then maybe working straight through wasn't making you more productive after all. And if your immediate reaction is, I don't have 15 minutes, that is exactly the assumption that you should start questioning. If skipping lunch isn't actually helping, then why do we assume that staying later will? And this one feels, I guess, more reasonable, right? You're in the middle of something. The meetings have finally stopped, right? People have gone home finally. People aren't messaging you every 30 seconds. So now you can actually concentrate. So you think, I'll just stay a little later and finish this. And sometimes that's exactly the right call. There are days when staying late makes perfect sense. The problem is when staying late becomes how the job gets done, when it stops feeling like an exception and starts feeling like normal. And you don't really notice when that happens. One late night becomes 2, then a busy week. Then months go by and you've started thinking of your workday as 8 to 5 plus whatever it takes afterward. And that is where I think it's worth asking this same question again, which is this actually helping me get more done? Or have I just gotten used to solving every workload problem with more time? Because once that's the answer, something interesting happens. Other people start planning around it, that you're always available. Maybe your coworkers know that you'll usually finish it, or at least you're there to answer any questions. Maybe your manager starts assuming that you'll get it done. Maybe you even just start assuming that that's just who you are. You're the reliable one. You're always there. indispensable, the one that always figures it out. And nobody sits down and announces, congratulations, your workday is now 12 hours. The expectation just drifts over time until one day you realize that you've been donating hours for so long that they don't even feel like donations anymore. It feels like it's required time. And meanwhile, something else has been changing. By the end of a long day, you're not usually doing your best thinking. You're doing your most determined thinking, but those are not the same. When you're mentally fresh, you're more likely to stop and ask, is there a better way to do this? Not to mention that you have the brain capacity to think about what you're trying to get done. But when you're exhausted, you just want to get it done. You stop questioning the process because questioning takes energy too. So you keep pushing through. And busy feels productive because you are moving, but movement and progress are not always the same thing. Sometimes staying another 2 hours solves today's problems while also creating tomorrow's, because tomorrow you'll be just a little bit more tired, a little slower, a little less likely to notice a shortcut, a little less willing to challenge whether the work even needs to be done this way. So the cycle repeats. More hours, less recovery, more hours again. I know, groundbreaking. Someone notify the corporate wellness committee. But seriously, if the only way your job works is by continually borrowing time from the rest of your life, it's got to be worth wondering whether the extra hours is actually making you productive. Is it? Or is it just making the current system possible? So, even when we finally leave work, do we actually leave? And that's where email comes in, or Teams, or Slack, whatever little notification has appointed itself the spokesperson for your employer. Your phone almost becomes another coworker, one that somehow followed you home. And it doesn't care that you're eating dinner, watching TV, or trying to convince yourself that you're going to fold that laundry before you go to bed, or try to spend some meaningful time with your family. It just sits there reminding you like, hey, psst, psst, work still exists. I had a coworker, let's call him Ben, who routinely checked his office email after hours. We all do. I did. I'm reformed. Anyway, this coworker, Ben, routinely checked his office email after hours. One night, he didn't. He went to his brother's birthday instead. And this time, there was a request that had come in almost at the end of the day. The next day, he felt awful, guilty. And it was not because anything had gone wrong. No one involved had even mentioned anything. In this particular instance, we couldn't have done anything with the request until the next day anyway. We were missing info. But that one night of enjoying time with his family changed his practices going forward, because to Ben, it wasn't everything worked out. Things still happened and I got to have time with my family. The thing his brain clutched onto and what he remembered was the one time that I didn't check, there was something waiting. And that's all it took. This will now be him always monitoring his emails just in case. I think a lot of us have our own version of Ben's story. One moment becomes proof, even if the other 100 evenings would have told a completely different story. So checking starts feeling like the responsible thing to do. And not checking feels uncomfortable. And before long, your workday doesn't really end anymore. You leave the office eventually, but your work comes home with you, whether you're in the office or remote. One email, one quick reply, one glance at your phone, one, I'll just check and make sure nothing's on fire. And now you're mentally back at work. And that's a huge cost that I never appreciated. It's not the time spent checking the email. It's the fact that my brain had switched back into work mode. And now it's replaying conversations. It's thinking about tomorrow. It's trying to solve problems that don't actually need solving tonight, during my free time, during your free time. And then you wonder why you slept 8 hours, if you're lucky, but you still wake up feeling tired. Your body got the night off, but your brain didn't. So here's another experiment. This one to me is the biggest. Just do one, but I think you need more than one. Pick one evening this week, just one. When you hear that notification ding, wait, don't check it right away. Or if you can't keep yourself from checking, don't answer it right away, unless it is truly, of course, urgent. And then notice what happens inside of you. Notice how many times you're thinking about your phone while you're trying not to answer it, trying not to look. Notice whether you feel calm, twitchy, guilty, responsible, anxious, or weirdly powerful, because look at you being a whole adult with boundaries. Was there anything that actually required an immediate response? And notice how much of the urgency came from the situation versus how much came from habit. That's the real part of the experiment. And that's what you're trying to investigate here. It's not whether checking email is always wrong. It's whether immediately checking it is actually helping the way we assume it is. And after you do this, here's what I hope you've noticed. Working through lunch, staying late, checking email after hours, those aren't actually 3 separate productivity tips gone wrong. They're 3 versions of the same idea. When work starts feeling overwhelming, our instinct is to give it more time, more attention, more of our availability, because that feels responsible. It feels like what productive people do. It's our job. But this is the question that this whole video has been asking you. Is it actually helping? Because if these habits were actually making you more productive, would you still feel exhausted? Would you still end so many days wondering where all your time went? Would you still be carrying work around in your head long after you closed your laptop? Maybe. Maybe what's happening is something much simpler. You work longer because you're behind. You recover less because you worked longer. The next day your thinking isn't quite as sharp because you're still tired. So things take a little longer. So you feel behind again, still. And the solution becomes to work longer. That is the loop. And the frustrating part is that every decision inside that loop feels reasonable while you're making it. That's why it's so hard to notice. I don't think any of us wakes up thinking, you know what? I'd really like to make myself less productive today. Trying to do our jobs. Gotta be productive, right? Gotta get it done. We're just rarely stopping to ask whether this process is actually working. I don't really want you to leave this video thinking that the fix is, I should always just take my lunch, or I should never stay late, or even I should delete Outlook from my phone. They're all good things, even the Outlook. The point is for you to get curious. When you catch yourself automatically giving work more, challenge yourself to pause for a second. Ask yourself, is more time actually what this needs? Or is this just the answer that I've gotten used to giving? Sometimes the answer really is, yeah, tonight's gonna be a late one. But that shouldn't be the default one. But if you can pause for a second, you'll be making the decision instead of running the habit. And that, my friends, is the important difference, because most of us are not going to retire next week. Hell, most of us don't have the money to just quit tomorrow. We are going to spend, most of us, a big chunk of our lives working. Facts. Which has to mean that the goal is not to escape work. The goal is actually to build a relationship with work that leaves enough of you for the rest of your life, and not just when you retire. It's for your family, your friends, your hobbies, your yard, your books, your games, your pedicures, getting those little toadies done. Whatever your funky little heart enjoys. Hopefully legal, preferably not sketchy. Sometimes I feel like we forget this. Your life isn't supposed to begin after work finally stops needing you, or when you think it stops needing you. It should be able to coexist. While you're still working, you should still be able to have a life. And like I said at the beginning, even on a Tuesday. So here's my challenge for you this week. Pick one thing that you do because it feels productive. And not because someone told you that that's what you needed to do, but because somewhere along the way, you became convinced that it's helping. And then ask yourself one question. How do you know it actually does? Run a small experiment. Take your lunch if you're not already. Leave on time once this week, even if you're working from home. Shut the damn thing off at 5. Wait until the morning to answer one non-urgent email. I know past me is getting highs, but try it. Or pick something completely different and just notice what happens. For you and for the people around that have become accustomed to this, did the work still get done? Are you able to think a little bit more clearly? Did you have a little more energy at the end of the day? Did you get a little bit more of yourself back? I mean, hell, did you get some restful sleep for once? Once you start questioning one productivity habit, you'll probably start noticing others. And this is what I really, really, really hope that you take away from this. This is not a new productivity system, a new habit of asking better questions. And if this hit, let me know in the comments. What's one thing that you've always assumed made you more productive that you're starting to question? I've got a ton of them from back in the day. I'll answer mine in the pinned comment. And next time I want to talk about what happens when you've questioned all of this and you're still miserable at work. Because that is a completely different problem. But for now, question one assumption and see what you discover.